hyperbolic functions. Okay. Now, before we actually look at hyperbolic functions, let's very quickly do a small review. Okay, so we know e to the power of x is equal to 1 plus x square by 2 factorial plus x cube by 3 factorial and so on and on. Similarly, we know sine x is equal to x minus x cube by 3 factorial plus x to the power of 5 by 5 factorial minus x 7 by 7 factorial plus and on and on. And similarly, cos x is equal to 1 minus x square by 2 factorial plus x4 by 4 factorial minus x to the power of 6 by 6 factorial and so on and on and on. Okay, so this much we know. Now, another thing that we need to know is what is e to the power of I theta is equal to what? Now, we already know e to the power of x, right? So, let's say x is equal to I theta. In that case, e to the power of x will become e to the power of I theta equal to, and we use the same series, substitute x by I theta. So 1 plus I theta, 1 plus x plus x square by 2 factorial. So I theta square by 2 factorial plus I theta cube by 3 factorial plus I theta to the power of 5 by 4 by 4 factorial and on and on and on. So we get 1 plus I theta, I square is minus 1. So minus theta square by 2 factorial. Then I cube is minus I theta cube by 3 factorial plus I to the power of 4 is 1. So theta to the power of 4 by 4 factorial plus and on and on, right? So now if you notice, this is real, real, real. This is imaginary, imaginary. So let's separate them out. What do we get? We get 1 minus theta square by 2 factorial plus theta 4 by 4 factorial minus dot 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 dot, then plus I theta minus theta cube by 3 factorial plus, if you follow the pattern, we will end up with theta 5 by 5 factorial and on and on. Okay, now what is this? This is nothing but cos theta plus this is what? Sin theta. So that means e to the power of I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta, which we are very familiar with from our previous sessions, right? Now, if we substitute, instead of I theta, we substitute minus I theta, what we would end up with is, let's actually do the substitution, plus minus I theta plus minus I theta square by 2 factorial plus minus I theta cube by 3 factorial plus minus I theta to the power of 4 by 4 factorial plus minus I theta to the power of 5 by 5 factorial and on and on. Okay, now let's simplify this. We get 1 minus I theta. Now let's look at I square. I square is minus 1. Minus square is plus. So minus into plus is minus. So minus theta square by 2 factorial. Similarly, I cube is minus I. Minus into minus plus I theta cube by 3 factorial. Similarly, here this minus to the power of 4 will become plus. I4 is 1. So this will become theta 4 by 4 factorial. Then minus I theta to the power of 5 will give us minus I theta to the power of 5 by 5 factorial, and on and on. Now this is real, 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 imaginary, imaginary, imaginary. So let's group them. We get 1 minus theta square by 2 factorial plus theta 4 by 4 factorial, and on and on. Then we have I. The initial term itself is minus. So let's take that minus out so that this becomes plus. We end up with theta. This is I theta cube plus. So for it to be plus, this has to be minus. Theta cube by 3 factorial plus theta 5 by 5 factorial, and on and on. And this is equal to cos theta. Cos theta minus I sin theta. Okay. So e to the power of I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. E to the power of minus I theta is equal to cos theta minus I sin theta. With these two itself, we can look at certain additional things. We can do what? We can add them up. E to the power of I theta plus e to the power of minus I theta is equal to I sin theta will get cancelled. We will end up with 2 cos theta, which means cos theta is equal to e to the power of I theta plus e to the power of minus I theta by 2, right? Now, if we add them, we get something. If we subtract them, cos theta will disappear. So something related to sin theta will come up. So let's do that. So let's say e to the power of I theta minus e to the power of minus I theta is equal to, we will end up with cos theta will get cancelled. So we will be left with 2I sin theta, which means sin theta is equal to e to the power of I theta minus e to the power of minus I theta divided by 2I. Okay, so this and this, these are called Euler's exponential values of sine and cos. Okay, now that we have the exponential values of sine and cos, let's look at for tan. So tan theta we know is sine theta by cos theta, which is equal to sin theta is e I theta minus e minus I theta by 2I, and let's multiply it by the reciprocal of cos theta, will be 2 by e to the power of I theta plus e to the power of minus I theta. So this and 2 will cancel, and we will end up with e to the power of I theta minus e to the power of minus I theta by e to the power of I theta plus e to the power of minus I theta. In the denominator we have I, yes? Okay. Similarly, we can figure out this for all the others as well. Cot theta is equal to 1 by tan theta, which is going to be equal to I e I theta plus e to the power of minus I theta by e I theta minus e minus I theta. Okay, now we can look at various other things as well. Sin theta, remember, we know is e I theta minus E minus I theta by 2I. Now what we'll do is, let's split them up. E to the power of I theta, or the result will be same whether you split it and do something or take common out. So let's take e to the power of I theta common out. What are you left with? You are left with 1 minus. Now you took out e to the power of minus I theta. So which means e to the power of minus I theta divided by e to the power of I theta by 2I, which is going to be equal to e to the power of I theta times 1 minus e to the power of, if we bring this to the numerator, this will become minus I theta. So this will become minus 2I theta by 2I. Till now we were looking at e to the power of x, where x was an imaginary angle, I theta, right? So now let's actually say, let x equal to a complex number z, that is x plus I y. Okay, so what happens? E to the power of z is equal to e to the power of x plus I y. Now this can be split into 2, e to the power of x times e to the power of I y. We know e to the power of x, we leave it as it is. We know e to the power of I y is nothing but cos y plus I sin y. And we know this cos and sin are periodic. So let's convert it into cos 2n pi plus y. So let's make this bracket a square bracket, plus I sin 2n pi plus y. Okay, which means we can write again back into e form, exponential form. So that becomes e to the power of 2n pi plus y and I, right? Which means we can write this as e to the power of x plus iy is there. So plus iy plus 2n pi I, because I is distributed. Okay, which means we can write this as e to the power of x plus iy is nothing but z. So e to the power of z plus 2n pi I. So which means e to the power of z is a periodic function with a period of 2 pi I. Okay, now that we have this much information, let's actually look at hyperbolic functions. Now remember, our all are strict functions, that is sine, cos, tan, sec, cosec, cot. They are all based on unit circle, right? X square plus y square is equal to 1. Whereas what we are going to look at is functions which are based on a hyperbola. So unit hyperbola. X square by a square plus y square by b square is equal to 1. Okay, that's the unit hyperbola. So a point on the unit hyperbola would be cos theta comma sine hyperbolic theta. Again we can write hyperbolic cos and hyperbolic sine in terms of exponential values. Sine, hyperbolic sine of x would be equal to e to the power of x minus e to the power of minus x by 2. Similarly, hyperbolic cos of x would be equal to e to the power of x plus e to the power of minus x by 2. Tan hyperbolic of x would be sine hyperbolic of x by cos hyperbolic of x, which means we can write it as e to the power of x minus e to the power of minus x by 2 times reciprocal of cos x. So that would be 2 by 2 by e to the power of x plus e to the power of minus x. So which means e to the power of x minus e to the power of minus x by e to the power of x plus e to the power of minus x. Okay, you know, if hyperbolic sine of x is this, then cosec hyperbolic of x would be 1 by. So that means reciprocal of sine hyperbolic. So this will be 2 by e to the power of x minus e to the power of minus x. Similarly, sec h of x is equal to 2 by e to the power of x plus e to the power of minus x. Okay, so now let's look at some relationship between normal sine cos and tan and the hyperbolic sine cos and tan. So cos x we know is e to the power of x ix plus e to the power of minus ix by 2. Okay, now let x equal to iy. So let's do the substitution. We get cos iy is equal to e to the power of iy plus e to the power of minus iiy by 2. Now here this becomes e to the power of I square y plus e to the power of minus I square y by 2, which becomes equal to I square is minus 1, so e to the power of minus y plus, now I square is minus 1, so minus into minus plus 1, so e to the power of y by, right? So is there any difference? Because this can be written as e to the power of y plus e to the power of minus y by, so therefore this is hyperbolic cos of y. Cos of y is equal to hyperbolic cos of y. The only difference is I will disappear in hyperbola. Okay, so that is one. Let's look at sine. What happens in case of sine? So let's say sine x we know is e to the power of ix minus e to the power of minus ix by 2y. Again, like before, let's say x is equal to iy. So this becomes sine iy is equal to e to the power of I square y minus e to the power of minus I square y by 2y, which would be equal to e to the power of minus y minus e to the power of y by 2y. Okay, now denominator we have an I, isn't it? We want to make it disappear. So what do? We multiply both numerator and denominator by I, so that this becomes I square, and the I itself will disappear. We will end up with minus 1. So that would be equal to I times e to the power of minus y minus e to the power of y by I square is minus, so 2, and this minus can be taken up, which means this minus can be taken inside. So I times e to the power of y minus e to the power of minus y by 2, which is nothing but I sine hyperbolic y. So sine iy, this I comes out in case of hyperbolic sine. Okay, let's look at tan finally. So tan iy would be equal to sine iy by cos iy. Sine iy is nothing but I sine hyperbolic y, and cos y is cos y, which is nothing but I tan hyperbolic y. So in case of sine and tan, I comes out. In case of cos, I disappears. That's the difference. Okay, I think that's enough. Bye.